Hey y'all, we are jumping right into a quick little tutorial. What we're going to need today is our number 12 brush. It's just a big wash brush, okay? And then we will need a smaller brush, and I have a really thin detail brush like this that I love to use for this kind of thing. However, I think your number one, I think you have a number one brush. And it's about this size if you have the set that we bought for class. Either one of those brushes is going to work great, but we're also going to need some good old-fashioned painter's tape. So we are going to be making a miniature sunset and with high grass. So basically it kind of looks like the beach. So what you do is you take your painter's tape, and I have a smaller pad than y'all right now because I ran out of our good practice paper. So I'm using what I have at home. But it doesn't matter. We're just going to make a small square. You can do this on your pad too. Just make your square whatever size you'd like. Let me see if I do this straight. I'll just make sure my lines are pretty straight. Here we go. Okay. And it's okay if you have to readjust because, as you can see, painter's tape is wonderful for this. It doesn't pull things off. Doesn't mess with your paper. So what I try to do is kind of just give it the same amount, between the tape and the edge of the page. Just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Because after we're done with this, you could leave it on the white and leave it as a complete picture, or you could even cut it out. So just depends on how you feel about it. I like these for thank you cards and I miss you cards and just thinking about you kind of stuff. These are perfect for that. So especially what we're going to be painting today because it's such a pretty soothing picture. It'd be great for a sympathy card. Okay, so first we're going to take plenty of paint, okay? And it's not super wet, but and the paper is dry. So we're doing our wet on dry technique, okay? Just get a good amount of that yellow in there. Smush it around. Ooh, I got a little schmutz on there. Oh, pro tip, don't erase things next to your paintbrushes because sometimes the eraser shavings get caught in your bristles. It's so frustrating. I did that the other day. Anyways, so if you see me pick something off, that's what it is. All right, so we got some good yellow in there, and now I'm going to go in with a little more paint because I feel like I need it to be good and opaque. All right, and get it. It's going to be like the majority of your frame is going to be filled up with this yellow. Okay, just make sure you feel good about where you're at with the yellow because what we're going to do now is take any kind of orange or red you want, okay? This is kind of an orangey red. It's really bright. These are all colors in our palette. I can't remember exactly which ones, but it's not the lightest yellow, but the next one up is the one I went for this yellow. And then it was just a really bright orange on the palette that I love. It's one of my favorite colors. Ooh, that's really opaque. So in a case where this happens, like you might have more opaque paint than down, on the bottom than up top, just borrow some. Just borrow some from down there and put it up top. No worries, because what we're going to do is actually we're going to mix all of this together. Okay, so now I'm going in with a clean, wet brush, and this is where you're going to use a good bit of water. And then you just start mixing in. You get this beautiful gradient, this ombre happening. So you get your edges where you kind of want them, and then I just want you to go around in a swoop. And that is a technical term. Thank you very much. And you just push that color around where you want it. All right, and just paying careful attention to those edges. Just make sure your tape is stuck down really good so you're not having to worry about it leaking. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let this dry because it does take a second to dry. And while we're doing that, I'm going to go off screen and clean my brushes. And then we will get back in a moment after it has dried. Okay, so here we are. Now you'll notice it dried lighter than you thought it would. Also, I went in and made a couple of little clouds. Super easy technique. You just take a little piece of a paper towel and just, while it's still damp, ... Sorry, I didn't think about doing that on camera, but it was so irresistible I had to do it. So, and again, we can practice this in class because it's not very difficult. But there we are. Everything's dry. I love the way that sunset sky looks. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our little detail brush, make sure it's good and clean, and what we're just going to take either one of your dark browns or your blacks. I like the black because it pops out a little more. And again, I'm using my little detail brush. Use the smallest brush you have, or you can use your round brush and just use the very tip of it because it is pointed a little bit, and just use a light hand. And notice how I actually started to paint on the tape first and went all the way up. So there's no break in the line on the edge of our picture. And again, just a light hand is all you need for this. And what we're doing is we're just lightly swooping up. Right. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. This is, just grass in the field or grass in the sand dunes. It reminds me of the beach. I love it. I think that's why I love these sunset pictures so much, is because it just reminds me of one of my favorite places on the planet. Okay, that's a good thick line right there. And don't worry if your lines vary, because that actually brings a lot of depth into the picture. Don't worry about it. If you have lighter, smaller strokes in the back, like you see on the left-hand corner, it's going to make it look like that grass is further away. And the darker strokes are going to bring it forward. So again, we're playing with depth here. Okay. Just make as many or as little as you want, going whichever way. I like when they cross over a little bit because it's kind of, naturally how they do in the wild. Okay, and now we've got this beautiful grass in front of this gorgeous sunset. And what we're going to do, go in and make sure we have all the tall stalks that we want, because those are important. Those are our focal points in the foreground. So I'm adding, I think I want 3 or 4 really tall stalks. All right. So I've got my 3 right here. And so what I'm going to do is just start using these little, they look like kind of feathery, little leaves that come off the grass. It's like the head of the marsh grass or whatever you want to call it. It's so pretty, so delicate, so lovely. And that's what you're going to do. You're just going to find your favorite tall stalks and just give them these little tufts. And we'll put it on some of the short stalks too. But definitely you want to nail down your focal point grass in the front before we move on to doing the background stuff. Okay. And so you're going to see me continue to do this for a little while. And again, just easy peasy lemon squeezy. Do whatever you'd like. And again, like I said earlier, feel free to put some of these beautiful little feathery heads on some of the shorter stalks in the back. They don't just have to be on the tall, but it does give for some great balance when you add a little bit of that in the background. Okay, I think we're pretty much done with this beautiful grass. I just feel like I want a few little birds in the picture. So, just like I don't know if you drew these in school like I did when I was a kid, but I always use these little cute little V's as birds who are flying. And so I'm just going to stick those in there because I think they're adorable. And who doesn't love to see seagulls flying in the sky over at the beach? Okay, do what you would like. You don't have to put seagulls in there, but I love birds. So I'm going to pop a few little cute seagulls in here. And I think I'm really happy with that. So there we go. There is our seascape, our sea sunset with our high grass, our beautiful sky, and our sweet little birds. Well, I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I know I did. It's one of my favorite things to paint. And like I said, you can make this into a card if you want, or leave it as it is as a piece of art. Oh, here's the most satisfying part. This is my favorite part. When we peel the tape off to see these beautiful clean lines. Check this out. Whoop. Oh, gosh. And yes, you must make the noise when you do it. It's a prerequisite, I promise. And see how nice those blades of grass, those stalks of grass look, because we painted on the tape and didn't worry about getting paint on the tape. Yeah, I love that. Now it's one continuous picture. I'm really proud of this one. I love it. It's so cute. Thank you for going on this quick little jaunt with me down to the beach, and I will see you soon. Bye.